go, just hit the reset. I just hit a level you ain't reached yet. Stay in the silent where you get deleted. Super yo, me put the run on the trench. All of this was just a part of the plans. Victory what I saw in advance. Now I got the whole world in my hands. Legendary, you didn't know? Yeah, no shit tomorrow, leaving froze. Yeah, would have thought they just seen a ghost. No, all you seeing is a ghost. Yeah, I do the most. If it justified to me, I let my heart get cold. Hey.
Yo, it's me, What If Finisher. Today I'll be doing my first What If, and it'll be a Black Clover What If. So today it'll be what if Asta had sunshine. So we're gonna start off the What If to where Asta and Yuno are dropped off at the church, and I think Ors finds him. I think that's what his name is. He picks him up, puts him in the church, and he notices that Asta is a little more livelier, I guess. He like jumps around and shit. And Yuno's more calm, like, chilling. And he reads their name, and it's Yuno and Asta. And when he goes to read Yuno's name, nothing happens. He's, chilling. But when he goes to read Asta's name, he gets kicked in the face. And the kick sends him flying into the wall, kind of breaking it a little, but not really. It just makes him like a little outline. And so, yeah, and then now we're gonna skip towards, like, I guess when he's like 4 years old, and this is where they start noticing different personalities throughout the day. Like, how what's his name? So Escanor's prideful in the day, but he's shy at night. But in this what if, I'm gonna make Asta, since he's a little more livelier at night, but when he grows up he's gonna be a little bit colder, but he's gonna be a little more introverted, I guess. But throughout day, he's a little more, prideful. Like he think he better than everyone else. Which in this what if he is, he could be a boss. He could be OP. But yeah, so they start noticing that throughout the day there's like the heat emanating off of him, but throughout the night it's like cold around him. So yeah, and that day he would also be emitting so much heat that it would kind of burn stuff around him. So he would go into the forest at a very young age to train his body. And throughout the night they would actually have to put more like fires in so that they could keep warm and stuff, because Asta couldn't control his powers at night. So here's how his powers are gonna work. It's gonna be like throughout the day he has like sun magic or whatever, and then throughout the night he has like, I guess, freezing magic. And I know that you can't have two types of magic, but I really don't give a fuck. This is my what if. I'm gonna do whatever I want. So he's gonna have I don't know if he should be a hybrid, but yeah. So we're gonna say, yeah, no, he's not a hybrid, but he has two abilities, I guess. So after a couple of years, we get to the point where us or is fine. Like the drunk man tries to take Yuno's necklace, but this time Asta has a little bit more control over his powers. And so what he does is he goes up to the drunk man, and he tells him, like, why why would you take my brother's necklace, Like, I don't want to see your face. You should just leave and never show your face around these parts again. And the drunk guy would be like, huh? Like, why are you talking to an adult like that? Like, you shouldn't be talking. You're still a little kid. But Asta would be like, yeah, it doesn't matter if I'm a little kid. I'm still stronger than you. Like, he has a little bit of pride in him, but like not as much, and like he doesn't show it. But yeah, and then he starts like forming some ice crystals, I guess, near the drunk guy. And the drunk guy, I forgot what kind of magic he has. I think he had a magic. Oh, let's just say he had fire magic, right? And he's like, "Pfft, I could crush that shit in an instant." And but he doesn't say that. He says like, "Wow, you really think you could kill like hurt me with that?" But then Asa, he starts like generating more and more power, and he creates like this sort of pressure, like spirit pressure from Bleach, and he starts like making the man go on his knees, and the man's like, "Yo, like what's up with you? Like, why do you have so much magical power and so much magical pressure?" But Asa's just like, I mean, it really isn't, but it is, I guess. But yeah, but I'm gonna say that this is like far, far, far into the future of I'm gonna say that the seven deadly sins and the Black Clover universe are connected. So it's gonna be the seven deadly sins was way in the past, like I don't know, a couple thousand years, and some catastrophe happened, and Black Clover was born. But yeah, so we cut back, and Asta is like firing the ice crystals towards the man, and he actually accidentally kills him, which kind of scares a little, because he's like, yo, you just killed a man, like literally in cold blood. And Asta'd be like, well, you shouldn't have tried that. You shouldn't have tried to take your pendant. And it's just like, yeah, I understand that, but you shouldn't have killed him. And just and Asta's just like, well, it's what he deserves. Scum like him shouldn't be around here. Scum like him shouldn't exist. And like starts noticing that it is his nighttime form, and he knows that his personality is different, but he didn't think that it was go as far as killing a man. So they go back to the church, and Yuno's a little bit scared of Asta, but not really, because he knows Asta wouldn't do anything to him. So yeah, the next day rolls around, and people walk out and they see like the dead body, and then they say like, who could have killed this man? But Asta comes out and he's like, at daytime, right? So he's like, I killed the man. Like, more prideful, he'd be like, I killed the man. And then everyone in the village would be like, yo, what? Huh? Like, why? And Asta'd be like, he tried to take my brother's pendant. And he was acting all high and mighty when I am the one who was above him and stuff. Which would, not really surprise the villagers. Sorry about that. But they would be a little hesitant, because they know that he really doesn't care if he kills anyone, and so they kind of like bury the man, I guess. So now we skip forward to the Magic Knights grimoire acceptance ceremony or something like that, and you know they start heading towards the grimoire tower, and on the way they get there a little quicker, but they meet some sort of bandits. But since Asta doesn't have a problem killing anyone, he creates multiple little cruel sons, and he flings them at the robbers, killing them. And he leaves a little some injured, but he kills like probably like over half of them. And not really surprised by this, because they're older, they're like 15. So he's like, wow, you really had to kill the boy. But he says he didn't really care. So they start going towards it. They get there like a day before, and when they enter the city, they look at the Wizard King's castle or whatever, and Austin's just like, you see that? That's going to be mine. I might let everyone live there, even you. And then Yuno's like, nah, 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 nah. That's gonna be my castle, and you're gonna be lucky if I let you live there. And they kind of get into a squabble, saying who's gonna be the Wizard King. But they're both like, they have their rivalry and shit. Oh no, I messed that up. My bad. No, it was the Grimoire. That's when they went to the Royal Knights exam. My bad. I didn't mean to do that. Cut back. They get to the Grimoire acceptance ceremony, and same thing happens. I don't know if I want to give him anti-magic, but here's what I do. I'll give him a six-leaf clover, grimoire. And you know how four sleeps good luck, five resides the devil. Six, the sixth leaf is the blessing of a god, pretty much. Like you know how sunshine was the power bestowed, like one fourth or like one eighth of the power of the deity, the great deity or whatever. So let's just say that that one is it's a blessing from a god, either the demon king or the goddess, but they're dead now. So everyone, same thing happens. Gets his four leaf, and everyone and the nobles and royals are like, like how did he get a four leaf? We're nobles and we're royals, and like we only get like three leaves. That shouldn't be possible. A commoner like him shouldn't have a four leaf. But then when it comes to Asta, it takes him a little. But then in the room, it starts like the temperature starts fluctuating because since he has like two types of magics. So like I guess like half the book straight down would be like fire, and then the other one would be like in ice. But he could turn it off, and he's like, it opens, kind of like creating a spell that I guess I don't know if I want to give him a spirit. I'm not gonna give him a spirit yet because Fauna still has it. But the grimoire comes down, and everyone notices that it feels hot and cold at the same time, like. And then they start looking towards like the book in the sky, and it's like fiery and icy, I guess. And it starts floating down to Asta, and Asta's just like, so this is my grimoire. And everyone, let's say this, the book looks like very very clean, like not like the anti magic like canon grimoire, the one that Asta has in canon. It's like very clean, like you could clearly see the images. And let's say that his grimoire has the sixth leaf in the middle, but then on top of the sixth leaf it has like a lion, because Escanor lions to the pride, and it has a lion, and then near the under the clover it says pride. And I guess his magic would be called sunshine. I still call it sunshine, but he has two types of magics. And so everyone else sees this, and there's like, yo, what's a six leaf? Like, what is a six leaf? Why does he have six leaves? But the only people that would know about this are like the higher ups in society, like the Wizard King, you know, the captains and shit. And so yeah, and then the two nobles, they come and attack. Takes him out like it's nothing. Well, actually no, Asta, he gets out early because he's like, okay, yeah, we're done here. And oh no, the Grimoire place is close to Hodge Village. Scratch that journey part. I'm gonna retell that later. And so Asta starts walking back to Hodge Village, but then he notices that after takes out the two nobles, you know the chain magic user guy comes, and he starts attacking binding him in his chains and stuff. And he notices that has high magic, but he knows that he's still like new to his grimoire and stuff, so he really can't do anything. So he takes it, but then Asta feels something that like feels like something's wrong, and so he heads back and notices that a person has restricted. But okay, so Asta in his day form, he's kind of like the picture of Escanor here. Hold on, he looks like like this and stuff, like he's big and muscular. I'd say he's around like what 6 foot or something, taller, because I don't know how tall Escanor is in his day form, but yeah, he's really tall. And the chain user says like like notices a shadow above him, and he turns around and he looks at Asta, very very like, yo, like, who are you, like. And then Asta's just like, me, I don't need to tell you my name, but since you're gonna die, I might as well. My name's Asta. um I don't know, should I call him the lion sin of pride? I think that's what it said. All right, let's just say, yeah, he's like, I'm Asta, the lion sin of pride. And the change mage's like, the what? And then he notices, and he's like, what have you done with my rival? And he notices, and then he's like, you're so weak you can't even defeat him. And since I'd say Asta still trains a lot, but he's more physically fit because of sunshine. So he's a little bit like, he's way more muscular. And also trained with him, so would also be more powerful. And then also just be like, huh, I guess I'll take it over from here. And while they're doing this, the chain mage gets ready to attack Asta, and Asta lets it, like, because he knows it isn't gonna do anything to him. And oh wait, yeah, yeah, it's near like nighttime, so Asta starts getting smaller and smaller. And shoot, I missed a lot of parts throughout that. But yeah, it's near like dusk, like sunset and stuff. And Asta gets smaller. But let's say he had his Divine Axe Rita, and he still trained with the Diamond Mage, the red-haired guy, when he was younger. But since it wasn't a sword, it was an axe, he wouldn't be able to train him as much. But Asta would learn on his own and how to use it, since he was strong enough to lift it up. So he has his Divine Axe Rita, right? And since he's getting smaller, he decides to use some of the stored up power that he put into the Rita, and he's like, Divine X Rita, release. And he releases just like a little bit to make him a little bigger. And the chain mage notices that Asta's emitting like a lot, and I mean a lot of magic. I was saying this, what if the anti magic demon doesn't exist? Instead, it was his clover that was the anti magic. So his grimoire. So his grimoire replaces the anti magic devil's grimoire. So uh and he notices that he has like a lot of like magic, and he's like, his magic is probably the same as a captain, and he's like, no, way stronger than a captain's. And this is just like like barely even anything of Asta's magical, no, stored up magic. And so Asta's just like, so you can read my magic, huh? Great. Now you see how outmatched you really are. And Asta, he breaks out of the chains with just his bare strength alone. And he walks up to the chain mage, and the chain mage is trying to like, cut him and stuff, but it just bounces off Asta, because in Seven Deadly Sins, Escanor went against, if you've not watched it or haven't read the manga, like, or watched the anime, um, Escanor can take blade cuts from Meliodas and throw out the noon. So, and Meliodas is in his assault form, so he's way stronger than Diamond Mage in his magic. So the chains just deflect off of him, right? And sorry about that. And then he walks up to the chain mage and says, and he looks at him and he's like, huh, scum. I'm not gonna let you get out of this alive. And he points up his finger and he says, cruel sun, and he fires it at the, like, he sends it at the chain mage, and he says, followed by pride flare, and it explodes in his face, pretty much killing him. So yeah, and then Yuno's like, yo, thanks for that, and Asta gives back his grimoire, and he's like, next time don't let anyone take your grimoire like that. Get stronger so that you can maybe face me in the future. And so, yeah. And so they walk back to Hodge Village. And I don't know how long the period was from the Magic Knights exam, but I'll say I'll give them like fuck canon. I'll do it my own way. I'll say like they get like what 4 months or 3 months to train. So Asta and fight each other for 3 months, but Asta doesn't really have to go all out. Like he doesn't even have to try. And is like getting stronger and stronger, kind of like a Zenkai from Dragon Ball with the Saiyans, like Goku and Vegeta. He gets Zenkais, but not really. He gets stronger and stronger, right? And I don't know what kind of spells Asta would have. So like, if you have any, like for the people who are watching this, like, uh, would you please care to put some in the comments? And so, you Asta, he trains by himself sometimes, trying to figure out trying to get new magic spells. And here, wait, let me try to come up with some real quick. So I'm back. I came up with, I guess, 2 or 3 spells. Since Asta has sunshine, but then at night he has like ice magic. I guess for daytime he'd have a spell called supernova, where it's like a sun about to explode, and it explodes into a supernova, creating like a huge crater. And then I'd guess he have another thing. Since some supernovas might cause like a black hole, I guess he'd have like a black hole where like it sucks everything in. Magic, surrounding area. I'll say he can just choose whatever it sucks in, like magic or whatever. Or someone, and it's pretty much like a binding spell. But yeah, let's say that. Sorry about that, hold up. Let's say he has stuff like that, and then for his ice magic during the night, but he can use both of them at the same time, kind of. Like he can use, but they're weaker. So like his ice magic is significantly weaker throughout the day, and vice versa. So his sunshine magic is weaker throughout the night. So for his ice magic, I guess he'd have like a ice storm, a storm of blades, with ice blades and shit, and other stuff like that. He'd have ice breath, where like he blows and it's like it like turns everything into ice and stuff. So yeah, and they trained for a couple of months, and they start traveling to the royal capital, and yeah, they start traveling there. They get there faster. Asta develops um, transportation magic. I got this idea from Comic Sans the Man, which he also has a series of what if Asta had sunshine, and you should really go check his out. His is also pretty cool. I got most of the ideas, or some of the ideas, I guess, from him. No, hold up, I'll be right back. Sorry. So yeah, I'm back now. Sorry about that. So yeah, I got some of the ideas like the transportation magic. What if I had sunshine? But a lot of other people have done this too. But that's the one that I got inspiration from. He also gave him, but this time like he gave him celestial magic or something. But in this one, I'm gonna let him have like 2 types of magic, but he still has sunshine, which is like his big part. But yeah. So this traveling magic, I guess. It's gonna be called Apollo's Chariot, and that's what Comic Sans calls it in his video. Because Apollo is the sun god in Greek mythology, and he pulls the sun, shit like that. And Asta has sunshine, so might as well. I am credits to Comic Sans the man for giving me this. But yeah, it would have like I guess like 4 to 6 horses, I guess. But I mean, I guess he could put as many horses as he really wants to. It just depends on how fast and how small he wants it to be. So yeah, they travel there. They meet the thieves, as I said in the beginning of the what if, because my dumbass forgot that the Grimoire place was closer to close to Hodge Village. But yeah, they go there. They meet the bandits. Asta kills most of them, leaves some alive, tells them to never show their face to him again because they're scum, and that they should be bowing to him because he's gonna become the future Wizard King. And it's just like this motherfucker. So Asta's very prideful, and once they get to the capital, Asta's just like, yo, look at that. That's gonna be my castle in the future. And it's just like, nah, 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 nah. That's gonna be my castle. I'm gonna let you live there, maybe. And then Asta's just like, bro, you're weaker than me. You're even lucky that I acknowledge you as my rival. And shit like that happens. And hold up. Alright, my bad. And so, us is just like, yeah, you're lucky if I let you live there since, you're far weaker than me and you're lucky that I even acknowledge you as my rival. And so they start bickering, but they also notice that how beautiful, the royal capital is and stuff like that. And so they get to the I guess the Colosseum or whatever, and the the guy who looks at your grimoires and stuff. He's like he notices and he's like, wow, you're really lucky. Like you're a commoner and you have a 4-leaf. And he's like, dang. All right, you can go right in because he doesn't really care. But then he looks at Asta and Asta's in his daytime form. Like he's pretty tall, but he kind of restrains himself a little so that he doesn't look like out of the crowd, I guess. But I don't know. I don't think he would care. But let's say he just does it because, plot convenience, I guess. And, he notices that, he's built as shit. And, he kind of has like the same outfit as Escanor in here, I guess. But, yeah. So he's like, he notices that, Asta's grimoire has like half fire and half ice. And he's like, yo, like, wow. And then he notices the 6-leaf and he's like, a 6-leaf? What is this? And, us is just like, don't worry about it. And he looks at the lion, and he says, "Sin of pride." And he's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, okay." So he's cocky, from what I can tell. And then yeah, he accepts him. You know, when when they go in, not like in canon, not none of the anti-magic birds flock toward and Asta. But I guess Nero would still fly over to Asta, and Asta would pick her, like grab her, and be like, what is up with you? Do you not notice like the magic that I have? Like it could burn you to a crisp." And Nero would, I guess she wouldn't be scared because it doesn't seem like she's scared of a lot of shit. But let's say like she's shaking a little, and then he's like, "Fine, I'll let you sit on my head. But know this, if you ever disrespect me, I will kill you." And like Nero's just like, all right, like she shakes her head, and she shakes her head and she flies up to Asta, and then Asta bumps into Yami. But let's say I think Yami's a little taller than I don't know. But let's say you know uh Asta. Yeah, this is why I made him a little shorter. I guess he'd be like 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 a couple like 2 inches, an inch shorter than Yami, and he bumps into Yami, right? And Yami's like, "Yo, you almost made me drop my cigar. Like, this is some premium stuff right here. I just got it. I don't want you to waste it." And Asta's just like, "Huh? Are you trying to belittle me?" And Yami would be like, "The fuck did you just say to me? Do you know who I am? I'm a captain. Captain of the Black Bulls may be the worst, but I am still a captain. Don't disrespect me." And he grabs Asta's head, and squeezing it like like in Canon. But this time Asta, and Nero gets out the way, obviously. And so Asta's just like, weak. And he takes Yami's hand off his head, and he's just like, and Yami's just like, "Yo, God," like in his head, he's like, "Yo, what the fuck? This motherfucker's strong." And I thought like I was one of the strongest people in this kingdom. And yeah, oh no, I didn't get the bet. And Yami's just like, and he's about to like do some crazy shit like about to fight Asta. And then you know uh but the fireworks go off. I think it's fireworks, like the start of the magic ceremony and shit. But yeah, and I think what were the magic tests? It was like flight, aim, and I guess something else. I don't know what the other one was. But let's say Asta can just fly. He can just fly without anything. But and does the same shit. He flies standing up on his broom like he's surfing and stuff. But Asta can just fly, and everyone notices this, and he's like, "Yo, like, how can he fly without a broom? Like, is that how strong he is or whatever?" And then Asta, he's like, "Oh, fine. I guess I won't show off that I can fly." And he opens up his grimoire and he says, Apollo's chariot and the giant chariot. But the chariot's like Asta can control the heat, so he controls it to where like it doesn't burn anything. Instead, it feels like cold, I guess. And so yeah, and then he lets go the aim practice. He creates a little cruel sun, and then he says pride flare, and it hits the target and shit, and it blows like a little crater where his magic was, and he was like, "Oh, I thought I was holding back." I don't know. What? How would it make it seem to where like he's like saying like, "Huh," and I thought I was using a little bit. Like saying that he's strong as f, as strong as fuck, and everyone notices. He's like, "Geez." So in Seke or the Buha guy or whatever, the guy who laughs a lot, he doesn't want to mess with Asa because he sees him. But in this, what if I'm gonna make it to where like Captain Vengeance says, you can choose anyone here to fight, but no one really notices that he says anyone. They just think like anyone in the arena like like magic contestants, and you know Asa's just like anyone, even a captain. When it's his turn, and Asa just walks there. Like no one really like trying to challenge him. Even some of the royals and nobles are like, or some of the nobles, because I don't think royals have to take the exam. But some of the nobles are like, like yeah, I don't want to mess with him. And so us is just like, none of you want to challenge me. I guess that's pretty fit, since I am stronger than all of you. And and so, oh, sorry about that. I had to go check something. And so And then everyone's just like, they get a little pissed, but they do know like he is kind of telling the truth. Like he could kill us if he really wanted to. And then the captains notice this, and they're like really, no one wants to challenge him. How pathetic! He's just a commoner, like the nobles, like Nozel. I pretty much Nozel, I guess, because he's like the most stuck up. Fuegoleon really isn't like that. And then he says, "Yo, Golden, like in this, what if Asta's like way smarter, like he knows shit, like he knows like the captains, like he doesn't know their name, so to say, because he didn't care, because he's prideful and he doesn't really need to know their names, and he's like, Golden Dawn captain, and Vengeance is like, yes, you said anyone in the arena, and he's like, and Vengeance is like, yeah, I mean anyone, and he's like, even captains, and everyone hears this and they're like, huh, does he really think he can take on a captain? And every captain notices, and they're like, some are like, does he really have the audacity to say that? Like, does he really think that he can take on a captain? And and Rail are like, like this guy's interesting, and Vengeance is too. Like he's like, wow, like does he really think he can take on um both like captains? And then Asta's just like, can I fight multiple? And now everyone's just like, hold on, what the fuck? Like, do you really think you can take on multiple captains? Like, no, get out of here. You stupid. You like mega dumb. And he's like, nah, I got this. And so he says, and then Vengeance is like, fine, you can choose two captains, but don't come crying when you get hurt. And, us would be like, me get hurt? Hmm, do you really think that you're that strong? And, he starts releasing, like, he picks like two captains, and let's say he picks Vengeance and Rill, because, I don't want to put him up against, Zell, because that kind of well, that wouldn't make it. That would make it better, but I don't feel like putting it up against Nozel. And so they're both like, okay, fine, but like we're gonna call you like, someone to heal you. And then when they get down there, they're like side to side next to Asta, like to his left and his right. And then he's like, I feel like I should have chosen three. And then they're like, is he really this like cocky? But since Asta is the lion to the pride, he has sunshine and shit. He is very prideful. He's like, all right. And then he takes out his divine axe, Rita, right? And they all see it. And Asta, since I guess it'd be like a little before noon, since at noon he's the strongest with sunshine, and then at midnight he's stronger with sorry about that. I don't want you guys to see that. He's stronger with his ice magic. And they do notice this, like they're like, yo, he's like two types of magic, but he doesn't really show off his ice magic. And then he takes out Divine X Rita, and then he lets him transform himself into like his normal, like what he would look like throughout the time of day. And he's like he bulks up and he gets taller and shit, and he's more muscular. And they all notice it. They're like, yo, whoa, like is this some sort of like transformation? And then Asta's just like, no, this is what happens with my body. And he notices is like he's like, it's almost noon. And he like gets a little smile, right? But he's not releasing any of his magical pressure, since it would kind of like be hot, like really really hot. And yeah, and so he releases it, like not a lot, but like he releases like, I guess let's say like 25 to 50%, and you can just feel it, and everyone there is just like like they're like the entrance examinees and stuff like them, they like start like like squatting a little, because like it's so much that they can barely stand. And it's fine, because he's like he's gone up against him so much that he had to train his body a little. but not to the point to where like he's like shredded or built, but he's strong pretty much. And they're all surprised by this, and they're like, geez, this guy has a lot. And let's say like it kind of covers most of the capital. Let's say he's releasing 25%, because I really want to make him OP in this, and he releases like 25%, and he's like, this should be enough. And it kind of covers the royal capital, but he kind of concentrates it a little more in the Colosseum. And they're all starting, like, they all like feel it, like they're about to like collapse, and they feel heat. And some of the people who were there at the grimoire acceptance were like, yo, why do we only feel heat? Last time we felt hot and cold. And the Wizard King, he's like, what is this magical pressure I'm sensing? It seems like we have some interesting people, like an interesting person this year. And he's like, geez, he might even be stronger than me, because it doesn't feel like he's releasing all of it. Sorry about that. And they get ready, and then Vengeance and Real like notices, so like they're like, I don't think we should hold back against him. And then Vengeance tells Real like, yo, like, try to go all out, bro, because I don't think like try to go all out, because I don't think we can beat him. And they're like, and like the captains and everyone else are like, did they really did he really just say like they don't think he can beat him? And so like they start at it, right? And Real uses his painting magic, and then Vengeance uses his tree magic or whatever, and they're trying to attack Asta, and Asta just kind of lets them hit him, since he knows like they're not going like all out right off the bat, because Vengeance just said that trying to crush his spirit, I guess. But start noticing, since like there's a little bit of dust, and because of the trees and shit, and he gets knocked down into the floor a little. They start noticing like, because as soon as the dust clears, they notice that Asta's just there, like still, like he's standing. It's like he's unscathed, and then like everyone there's like, yo, whoa, like is he really that like buff and powerful? And then they both like both of the captains look at each other, and they nod their heads. Sorry about that. Like, yeah, we really should go all out. And Asta's just like, I guess I'll increase my magical power by 5%. No, not even. Like, he just says, like, I guess this is good enough. And he, I guess, picks up his Divine Axe Rita, and then he, like, hacks away at all the magic, burning it away. Like, he can pretty much burn magic. Like, it's gone. You won't see it again, honey. And then he's like, he starts hacking it away, and then he points up his finger, like, and he says, cruel sun. And like the one, I guess, from this picture, but not as huge. Like, it's pretty, like, man, it's not as small as, it'd be a little bigger than the one in this picture. And they see this, and they're like, they feel the heat coming off of it, and they're like, yo, geez, bro, this might burn us. And then he says, like, he sends two cruel suns at them, right? And then right before it was about to hit him, he says, followed by pride flare. And then he blows it up in their faces. He's sending them flying back into, like, the Colosseum, falling against the walls. And they get back up, and they're about to like hit him with everything. And they were. And they like get ready for the magical, like their greatest magical attacks. And then Asta just says, and like Asta's like, huh, pathetic. I thought this would give me more of a challenge. And then when he says that, everyone was like, geez, this guy is cocky. Like, he's about to get hit with the full force of a captain. And Asta lets it. But he says, I guess Red Giant. Wait, hold on, let me search up what, like, Hold on, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. So I guess I'm gonna call it Red Sun, since that's what it's like before it blows up into a supernova. So I guess Asta would create uh like a pretty big, I guess like the one in the picture, but probably like double the size, maybe triple the size of it. And he throws it up in the sky and he's like, "Do you guys really want this?" And they don't like really care. They're like, "Yo, we need to beat him. Like we can't be like, we can't be like showed up by a new person, like, by like a new magic knight maybe. No, definitely a new magic knight." And then Asta would be like, "Fine, if that's what you like, if it's fine if that's what you want." And he says Red Sun. And then he'd be like, followed by supernova. And then like the sun just like explodes, you know, explodes everything. Like, even some of the people around, like Asta had to like really control his magic right there to where like it wouldn't hit anyone else besides the two captains. And like the captains and everyone else are like getting ready, like they're like trying to protect themselves, but then they notice that like none of it's hitting them except the two captains. The supernova was just directly aimed towards them, and the captains are like super impressed because like, geez, he has a lot of magic control even for a commoner. And then Asta says, and then followed by black hole. And then the black hole, like, since most some of I guess some of the magic, it just hits the captains, right? But they still have their like, magic up, and it starts sucking in their magic. And especially some of the other people's magic start getting sucked in, and they feel it like it's disappearing, like it's not coming back. And yeah, they're like, "Yeah, geez, dude." And then the two captains are like, "We give up, we give up." And Us would be like, "Hmm, I guess that 25% of my power can take out two captains." Huh. Not even 25%. I wasn't even going 25%. I just released 25% of my magic. And they're like, yeah, he's a scary man. He's not to be fucked with at all. Like, we're gonna leave him alone. And then, they, like, all the captains are like, yeah, geez, bro, like, 25%? Not even 25%? And I should be like, yeah, it was probably like 15, 20. And everyone's like impressed, like, geez, dude, this man is crazy fucking strong. We're not gonna say anything to him. Even like Nozel, like like him, like the cocky royal, like like the one that has a stick up his ass. He's like I'm not fucking with him at all. He can fucking kill me if he really wants to. But since Asta didn't show us like none of his ice magic, none of it, they don't know that he can actually use ice. They see his grimoire, but they're like, huh, it must just be like that. But Asta doesn't use any of it. And the selections go, still gets picked by all of them, but they all still have Asta in their mind. And Yuno's just like, damn, he really had to show me up like that. But yeah, and then, when Asta gets up though, like, they all stand up and they're like, do you want to become a Magic Knight captain? Like, all of them saying it simultaneously, even the one that's sleeping all the time. They're like, do you want to become a Magic Knight captain? And Asta's just like, I could, but I'm gonna join a squad first. I need experience. Saying that even he might lack in something. And yeah. and they're like, they're all surprised, like, dude, he has the capability of becoming the most powerful mage we've ever had in the history of the Clover Kingdom. Even probably stronger than the Wizard King right now. And even the Wizard King, like, yo, like, he's thinking, like, that guy's probably stronger than me. Like, he could probably, like, mess me up. And Asta's just like, this isn't a dream. Like, he's like, and then they all sit back down and they all raise their hands. And they're like, all like, yo, we need this motherfucker. If we have him, we're number one. And, hold up. And Asta's just like, Asta just says, I choose the Black Bulls. And everyone's just like, like their jaws drop, like, yo, why would you choose the Black Bulls? They're the worst squad. And then Fuegoleon says that actually, but everyone else is thinking that. And then Asta would be like, I know I am going to become the Wizard King. And I know that it needs results. And they're like, like, that he wants to, like, they even say, like, yo, he's really cocky, like, but they also know that he can actually become, like, he can become him. And so they're like, he's like, so I need results. So I'm gonna turn the Black Bulls into the best squad ever. And Yami's like just laughing, like, haha, like, I got the strongest guy in probably the whole history of the Magic Knight exams. And you guys are gonna have to suck it. And yeah, and so like Yami's like, laughing, smiling, like, I like this kid. He's strong. He probably will, like, never go back on his word. Like, he senses, like, like, he's very prideful and stuff. And so yeah, they they go, he meets him, he's like, yeah. And then Yami's just like, sorry, like, Asta's just like, yeah, I guess. Well, no, he wouldn't say sorry since he's too prideful. And he's just like, so are we gonna go now? And Yami's just like, hey, just because you're strong doesn't mean that you can talk to your captain like that. And Asta's just like, fine, I understand, I guess. Oh, let's say, bro, this would also be cool. That some of the nobles and some of the royals would be like, some of the royal and noble captains would be like, would you join our family? And Asta would be like, uh, I don't know. Should I? And they all just like, they're all like kind of like, ticked off because like why would he refuse? But then Asta just says, why would I join your family if I do not have someone that I love? And then, so, just to give a hint, and then we cut back, they're all just like, yo, like, we really need him. Like, I want him. I want him. Even though Zell is just like, even though he is a commoner, like, he'd be a fucking great ass, like, asset. But, we cut back to Yami. He's like, yeah, I like you, but you're gonna have to respect me since I am your captain. And so they cut and they go use Fenrir's spatial magic. They go to the Black Bulls hideout and stuff like that. But I'm gonna end it off right here. Next part, I'm probably gonna do the baptism, Saucy Village, and maybe the dungeon arc, but I don't know about that. So alright, so I'm gonna end it here. Sorry this video took up longer than I expected, but it's cool. I'll probably release the next video in a day, 2 days, maybe 3 days. But if I don't release it in 3 days, I'm probably still thinking about it. because I'm not trying to like find any plot holes and stuff like that. So, alright, yeah, and stuff like that. So, yeah, this has been the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Comment what kind of abilities Asta should have, and comment if you want him to gain a spirit. Cause I kind of want him to gain a spirit, but also like the people who for the people watching this, I want to see if you guys want him to gain a spirit, like even become more OP. That'd be cool. But yeah, this has been the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and peace out.